What is up, you guys? It's Steven here, and this is a little bit of a different video for you. Lightfall has been out for a little over a week, and I think everyone and their mother knows it has not been the most positively received expansion in the history of this game. Now, I'm not here to completely dunk on Lightfall and say it's the worst thing since Curse of Osiris, because I don't think anything could be that bad. However, there are some glaring issues with Lightfall. A lot of positive came with this expansion, a decent amount of negative, and I figured after about a week I could, digest it a little bit and share my thoughts on the Lightfall expansion in Destiny 2. I need to preface up front, this is a free-form video. I don't have a script. I just have some talking points, and this is the first time I'm doing something like this, so if I get a little scattered and say the word constantly, just know, still getting used to this. Right up front, if you do like this video, please consider liking it, sharing it, and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to lean out into other content besides live streaming, and I've been doing a couple of videos here and there that I've been working on. This is the first big project, and I would love to hear you guys' feedback and let me know in the comment section if you would like to see more Destiny 2 style videos like this, whether that be just dungeon runs with interesting loadouts like my last one, or video essays talking about my thoughts on stuff. I would love to hear your guys' feedback, and maybe we can move forward kind of doing a healthy balance between live streaming and these kind of videos. Also, massive shout out to my friend Caesar. He edited all these clips together and made this beautiful background footage, and I really appreciate the quick turnaround and him helping me out with this. Major props to Caesar, and moving forward, he will be handling most of my video editing, if not all. So, round of applause for Caesar. Okay, here's what I wanted to say about Lightfall on the positive side of things. This video is going to be broken up into positives, negatives, and then undecided or uncertain at the end. And then we can kind of wrap that all up into my thoughts package and move forward. As I said, completely freeform. Here we go. First of all, let's talk about the pros, the positives of this expansion. As always, Bungie has knocked it out of the park with the gameplay. The Legendary campaign feels incredibly balanced for the Legendary difficulty. I think they finally fine-tuned what they broke into in Witch Queen. Witch Queen felt like it could still use a little bit of tweaking for the solo experience, and also, when you're running in a stack of 3, how tanky the enemies are. In this campaign, it definitely felt more tuned and more refined, and I appreciate Bungie for doing that, because I think they have finally found a good difficulty setting for their campaigns where it's engaging but not frustrating. Kudos to Bungie on that. Next up, let's talk about the gameplay in the sense of what you're using and who you're fighting. First of all, the guns have always been a bright spot for Bungie. Gameplay, gunplay, the balance of your abilities with shooting has always been top-notch since the Halo days, and I really think that in Lightfall, they have just tuned things to a T of how they want to move forward, and I think it worked extremely well. The guns always feel good to use, there's interesting perk combinations, there's awesome things that they have in store for crafting and all that, the fine-tuning of crafting where we're not dumping 8 different material types just to make a weapon, where we can finally do just, hey, I'm going to use my enhancement cores, legendary shards, glimmer, etc., and then pulling a red border pattern out of a weapon without having to farm it and use it like crazy, and just pulling it immediately has just streamlined the process. Guns are in a fantastic spot. Enemies, the things you shoot with these said amazing guns. The enemies in this campaign, now, for the most part, are more of the same. The Shadow Legion have some interesting mechanics with their shields, and I think it is something that, adds a little bit of layer to shooting an enemy, because that shield will, even if you kill them, will pop down, and you still have to take into account because it will provide an extra overshield, which is just more bullets that you have to lay into an enemy before taking him out. However, the best enemy change that they have made are the Tormentors. I think the Tormentors are the best enemy outside of a raid boss that Bungie has designed to date. The Lucent Brood were a great first step, but they did feel a little like, oh, just chunk their health down and then just use a finisher. Tormentors feel like as you put damage into their crit spots, they get hyper aggressive. They move towards you. They attack, and it adds an entirely new avenue for the gunplay abilities enemies loop. I remember when I was in the campaign and I had to take on 2 of them solo, I had to kite around the room, running in circles, desperately picking my shots carefully enough to take one down and put passive damage on the other. Awesome enemy. Love the design. Fantastic. As for where we are doing this shooting and this enemy slaying, Neomuna is gorgeous. It is a city that is breathing. It's alive. Yes, it's under siege, but you can totally tell it's been lived in. Every nook and cranny offers a nice secret in that typical Bungie way. But the towering skyscrapers and the bright neon lights just suck you in and make you want to explore every inch of it. I think the environment is fantastic. I'm very happy we have an urban, fresh environment, and I love it to death. I would love to spend more time with it, but so far, first impressions, Neomuna itself is a great destination, and I'm so excited to see what's inside of its depths and all of its secrets it holds. Strand. So, when Strand first was announced, I was extremely excited. Then I got my hands on it in the campaign, and it felt great for the most part, except for the fact is, it kind of screwed with your build. If you were running something and you had to take over Strand, you weren't optimized for it, whatever. But then we got outside of the campaign, and those high cooldowns were away, and I felt terrible about it. I thought it was horrible. I was like, I'm super underwhelmed. And then I stopped being a baby, and I let it breathe a little. I unlocked some fragments. I built into it. And now, honestly, it's competing with Void and Stasis as my favorite subclass. I think everything is perfect. Warlock feels like you're summoning these minions for you, and it feels like you're a summoning, a summoner in other games. I don't know how else to put it. And you're just controlling all these threadlings, and you lean into that, and you're able to just tear through entire rooms. It's awesome. The hunters, besides their super being extremely overpowered, which I think Bungie actually fixed today, they feel like this fast, zippy, just hard-hitting, extremely agile, like, I don't even know how to say it, like ninja. It feels awesome. I love the double grenade for the double grapple, and the super is so awesome. The combo that you can get going in a room to just wipe it out is amazing. The Titan. I know everyone memed it to death, saying it was just lime green striker. And, while at first glance it looked that way, getting your hands on it, that super and the suspend builds you can make are insane, and I cannot wait to put it to the test inside of a raid or a dungeon, or honestly, just a Vanguard Ops playlist. It is so fun to use, and I think they nailed Strand. I think that my first impression was a little biased, and after I gave it time to breathe and dug into it more, I am so impressed by it, and I'm so happy with it, and I can't wait to use it in the future. All right. So the cons, the negatives, the boo-boo, oopsie-poopsie section. Guys, we're really going to focus on one thing here, and it's the story. Now, spoilers? Do I even have to say that? My first impression is that if you're here watching this, you have played through the game. I will give you a couple seconds to step away, maybe come back to this video, but just so you know, spoilers ahead. I'm not going to go too in-depth in this video, but spoilers ahead. Go ahead, and I'll give you a second. You still here? Or welcome back? Okay, let's get into it. I'm going to try to run through this a little quickly so I have time to talk about what I want to talk about at the end. Why, in God's name, when the witness is finally attacking the traveler, do we go screw off to Neomuna? I understand Osiris, and we'll get to him in a second. I understand he has an obsession, needs to get there. But guys, this is the witness and the Black Fleet attacking the traveler and Earth. Why the hell are we running off to Neptune? Okay. Osiris, my guy, I understand you've been through a lot, but you don't need to be the cranky grandpa that no one wants to see at Thanksgiving. Okay? Guess what? We're all in a stressful situation, buddy. That does not give you the right to tear into us and just be miserable to be around. I could not stand the way Osiris handles anything in this expansion. He's just so irritated and so frustrated that we're not getting a grasp on Strand, or we're not finding out what's going on with the Veil, or we're not quick enough to stop the Shadow Legion and Callus. Dude, you're here. We're trying. Neomuna. I just praised it, how it looks and how it operates. But I do find it a little convenient that, you know, a city that does feel lived in at the same time feels so empty. You see those little figures of the citizens that have been uploaded to the Cloud Arc. And yes, okay, I can buy into that. But it does feel too empty. It feels lived in, but it also at the same time feels like they built it from the ground up, not knowing how to answer, oh, how do we make this giant city environment feel alive and breathing? It's weird because it's kind of a dual situation. It's a double-edged sword. It feels lived in because of the way it looks, but it doesn't feel lived in because of the way it feels. It is a awesome, beautiful city that just feels soulless and empty because it feels like they missed the boat there on showing NPCs or citizens. I don't know what they could have done there, but it's just a minor gripe I have about Neomuna. The Cloud Striders. Rohan and Nimbus. We all knew from the second Rohan said he was almost done as a Cloud Strider that he was going to die. And when he did, I didn't care. I didn't care one bit. I know it sounds mean. Maybe it sounds heartless. I wasn't invested enough in him, which sucks because out of the two, I wanted to get to know him better. I felt like the grizzled veteran thing could have been done so well, but he was there for a plot device. To nobly sacrifice and pass the torch to Nimbus. And then we have Nimbus. And I'm really happy I waited to make this video until after I started doing the post-campaign activities, because I do actually kind of like Nimbus a little bit more. Because at first, I hated him. He felt like Discount Cade. He felt like Discount Finch. He felt like the sassy failsafe knockoff. I don't know why we needed the comedy relief in something so serious, especially in the last mission with Callus, and having Keitel there, and the stakes of the Veil. Why did we have this wisecracking teenager there? Granted, the post-campaign really fleshed him out, and I do appreciate that. But just the cringy dialogue, we didn't need it. I know this was supposed to be based off an 80s action movie motif. We could have skipped the rookie. That's all I'm saying. Cloud Striders in general, wait till the post-campaign. You'll get some more insight into him, guys. Callus. Callus has been a major part of this franchise for the almost 10 years. Well, maybe not 10, but at least Destiny 2. But he has been a huge part of this. And this is actually probably the smallest con or complaint I have. Callus did feel like he was a little shoehorned in. He did feel like he didn't really get his due as the big new disciple. And you're always going to feel that way when you kill a major character in the campaign. However, I know why. It's because the Witness was using Callus, and Callus thought he was more important than he was. I totally understand that. It just was kind of a bummer to watch Callus die that easily. I wished more for our chunky boy, And maybe we'll be able to fight a nightmare or something of him in the future. All right. This next one, I'm going to just rapid fire. The Veil. You don't know it. You don't love it because you don't know what it is. And we don't know what it is. What's the Veil? Who knows? It's some kind of entity or power source or blah. It's not explained in the slightest, and I'm totally okay with them not, jumping the shark and letting you know everything at the ending mission or campaign or whatever. But what I'm not okay with is not understanding what the hell it is or why we should care besides it's the thing that gives him the thing. It's the big power source that gives him the thing. No. Needed more on the Veil, even a little bit of intrigue, even a little bit of a revelation to make it feel important. The Traveler's Fate. Very confusing. And then all of a sudden you go back to the tower after the witness cuts the hole into the Traveler, the portal, and goes through. And then it's like, oh, the Traveler's presence is gone. And Zavala's like smirking, and Ikora is like, bleh. And you're just sitting there like, did we just lose? Yes, because your character says it. When your ghost is being pulled in and apparently uncontrollably taken. First of all, couldn't we have just grabbed it? Couldn't we have stranded it? Why did we let it happen? Whatever. Why is the death of the Traveler looked at like it's a shrug? Maybe this will get answered in later seasons. I don't know what to tell you. It was such a flat ending after such an awesome build-up for Season of the Seraph into Lightfall. Incredible jumps and strides made by the Bungie narrative team. Felt like it was completely squandered. And I am frustrated. I am disappointed. But I am hopeful that we'll get the answers we need in the coming seasons. I understand this is live. It's a live game, live service. We need the seasons. We need the story content. Totally understand. But doesn't change the fact that I was disappointed. For my stuff that I'm undecided on, I'm just going to run through them really quick without going into them too much. The mod system seems a little bare bones. The difficulty in base activities like dares, the strike playlist, I think it was overtuned. It's a little too aggressive. Oh my gosh. Just ridiculous. Lost sectors with the surefire exotic farming seem like it's going to be less of a viable option. Not down with that. But I'm going to give it benefit of the doubt. I'm going to wait to give my final thoughts on that until we have had more time and Bungie's had time to tune things. Overall, I think the ridiculous hate on Lightfall might have been a little too aggressive. Yes, the story was a letdown. Yes, there's some minor things like difficulty, the bare bones mods, that is a little much for me. But I don't think it deserves a 5 out of 10 by IGN. I don't think it deserves the mostly negative review, because even if the story was a bit of a miss, the gameplay has never been better. And I believe in Bungie. I genuinely think that they have all the tools at their disposal. I hope so, after being acquired by Sony for billions of dollars. But I genuinely believe that they're going to really build up this story and this ongoing narrative careening towards the final shape. And I do trust them for the most part. I do think this was a major misstep. We all have heard that this was technically supposed to be a season's worth of content that they pulled into expansion because they wanted to do the final shape in addition to Lightfall, because Lightfall was originally supposed to be the end. I'm not going to speculate on that. At the end of the day, guys, yes, Lightfall, story-wise, which is where I'm heavily invested in the game, is a bit of a letdown. I felt like it landed pretty flat. I think there was good moments. I think there's great things about this strand, the legendary campaign, the tormentors. It's incredible. I really do think that we are in for a great thing moving forward. But we just gotta hope that Bungie pulls themselves up by the bootstraps and they can get this done the way we all know they can. That's kind of how I feel about it right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Huge shout out to Caesar again. Thank you for editing this video. If you guys did enjoy this video and this freeform content, let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully in the future, you'll be seeing more of these kind of videos, and we can go out of our way to have a good story and a great campaign. Guys, I will see you in orbit, and we will talk to you next time.